These are some shots I took with the Nikon Z50 on a recent trip to Mexico. In this video, I'll go over the pros and cons of this setup and wrap up with my final thoughts. The Nikon Z50 with the little collapsible 16 to 50mm kit lens. It's often praised as a great travel camera, especially when paired with the 50 to 250mm telephoto. Together, the whole kit fits in a small shoulder bag. But enough talk. Let's take this little kit and let's go on a vacation. If you get a window seat, try some aerial photography. The 16 to 50mm is perfect. Anything around a 28 to 85mm full frame equivalent works great out of an airplane. As you approach your destination, you might only have 30 seconds to capture something interesting before landing, so be ready. Once the flight attendants take their seats, I pull out the camera and keep shooting until touchdown. First thing I noticed after landing, everything looked so yellow. Just kidding. Mexico isn't actually under a Hollywood filter. Who knew? The first stop was Playa del Carmen, probably the least photogenic place of the whole trip. It's touristy and full of tourist traps. The best move here, wake up early for golden hour on the beach. The 16 to 50mm stabilization meant everything handheld, no tripod needed for the whole trip. At the ferry terminal, I challenged myself to photograph an overshot landmark before catching the boat to Cozumel. The next morning, I tested the 50 to 250mm from my Airbnb's rooftop, trying to capture a variety of street scenes without moving. Instantly, this became my favorite lens of the trip. Amazing how many compositions you can find in one location. The main goal in Cozumel was scuba diving with some friends. Honestly, it wasn't worth it compared to the diving I'd done in Southeast Asia. Lackluster coral, one sleeping shark, and a handful of turtles across 4 dives. Still, it was a fun group. I got some good drift diving practice and a great sunset on the way back. I wandered the tourist area in town again for some street shots. Still postcard cheesy, but I leaned into it. Before leaving, a local waiter asked me why I'd leave paradise. That's Cozumel for you, a paradise constructed for gringos. It was time to head inland. A bus ride later, I arrived in Valladolid. It was still touristy, but a lot calmer. Now more confident with the Z50, I warmed up with some classic shots around the main square. The 16 to 50mm kit lens VR helped me shoot handheld inside the dark cathedral. Any noise easily cleaned up later with denoise software. The colorful walls of this city are perfect for street photography. I spent the whole day chasing textures, light, and local interactions. You will constantly run into this exact scenario wherever you travel, where the streets are half lit, half in shadow. Instead of fighting it and trying to capture the whole thing, I like to shoot one side of the street at a time. One for vibrant colors, the other for soft pastel tones and shadow. Capture everything interesting, shooting across the street, then I walk back, shooting the other side of the street. I hope that makes sense. I recommend taking breaks when needed. You'll have to save your energy for the evening light when everything turns golden again. And it's sometimes worth revisiting the same places in the evening light. I woke up early for the first minibus to Chichen Itza. You have to go early. It's peaceful for about 1 hour. Then it turns into a circus once the Cancun buses arrive. Photographically, the challenge is the harsh rising sun and finding creative angles beyond the classic Wikipedia pyramid shot. By lunchtime, it's so crowded that the tourists themselves become the subject. Next stop, Mérida, the jewel of the Yucatan. After Valladolid, it felt like a proper city again. In historic homes and museums like this, I like to pretend it's a real estate shoot. Instead of trying to capture the whole room in one go, I zoom in slightly to capture storytelling details. City Hall was another great stop, especially upstairs where huge murals hang. The guide joked that this place is nicknamed 7-Eleven because it's always open, so I made a mental note to come back later. Mérida's streets were full of colorful walls and vintage cars. Basically photography on easy mode. Now before sunset, I returned to City Hall. The balconies gave me a perfect vantage point over the city. Getting higher always helps capture those long evening shadows. That same art room from earlier was now glowing in golden light. The tall windows made the shot. I lucked out being in town for a big public bus ride on Paseo de Mantejo. Instead of joining, I photographed the street life, though for once I really wished I had a faster f2 or f1.8 lens. As usual, I woke up very early, this time for Uxmal. Think Chichen Itza, but with 90% fewer tourists. Early morning, it was actually hard to find anyone for scale. Pro tip, before you leave, check out the sunbathing lizards around the ruins. Before heading back to town, I stopped by the nearby chocolate museum. Now this sounds like a tourist trap, but it wasn't. I highly recommend it. It was a great mix of indoor and outdoor exhibits, plus some rescued animals you can feed for a small fee. I even caught a live demo of the traditional Mayan way of making chocolate drinks. Next morning, up even earlier, I grabbed an Uber to a nearby park, just 10 minutes from downtown Merida. I wasn't expecting much, but it turned into a bird photography goldmine. For locals, this must be about as interesting as a pigeon, but I was thrilled. New species everywhere, and a perfect chance to use the 50 to 250mm lens again. The tilting screen helped me get eye-level shots without lying on the ground. I'm never traveling without a tilty screen again. I'm only showing the keepers here, guys. There were a lot of missed shots because I was doing close-range, single-point focus. Bird detection would have really helped. Still, some of my favorite shots of the trip. Izamal, the Yellow City. Just a short ride from Merida and perfect for a day trip. This place was amazing for street photography, and this tiny city even came with its own little pyramid with great city views. Now I recommend visiting the pyramid in the afternoon, but be sure to come down before sunset because the golden light around the convent of St. Anthony is magic, and that's really the main attraction here. Finally, Cancun for my flight home. Expectations were low, as everyone told me that Cancun is crappy and full of drunk teenage tourists. Still, I needed to be here for my flight back, and I still set my alarm to 5 a.m. to squeeze in one last photo shoot. I took a public bus to the hotel zone and found my way to the lighthouse for the sunrise. Here I used both lenses, the 16 to 50mm for some landscape and the 50 to 250mm for some bird action. All handheld, no filters. In conclusion, should you buy the Z50 for travel? Yes and no. Yes, if you're on a budget and want great image quality in a compact setup. But the Z50 now exists. With the same kit lens, it's about double the price. But it's probably double the camera because of the better processor and autofocus. Now, there were a few annoyances on the Z50. These touch buttons. I kept pressing them with my nose while using the viewfinder. It's no surprise that Nikon made them physical on the Z52. The battery life isn't great either. You'll have to bring at least 2 batteries for a day of shooting. I always carried 3. The kit lenses are also fairly slow. f6.3 on the long end is nothing to get excited about. You'll need to bump up the ISO to freeze motion. Several people on the trip called me the guy with the big camera. I was constantly being asked to take people's photos because I had the quote-unquote big camera. 99% of travelers today just use their phones. It makes me wonder if I should just bring a full-frame camera next time, since people assume it's big anyway. I suspect it's the EVF hump that really draws attention. I do wish the Z50 had better bird and people detection, especially in low light. Bottom line, if you want a lightweight, budget-friendly setup that can handle almost any travel scene, the Z50 kit delivers. But if you've got the money, go straight for the Z52 and don't look back. If you've got questions or tips, drop them in the comments section. And as always, guys, thanks for watching and subscribe for more.